This is truly a game changer. It means more lives saved. It means taking potentially preventable deaths and preventing them.
This program will save lives.
All Cameras on One Blood as a groundbreaking program expands, enabling first responders to provide blood transfusions at the scene of an incident. This woman is alive because of it and is sharing her story.
I was basically dying on scene.
Plus, we go behind the scenes of One Blood for an up-close look at what the team does to determine which donations can be used on the ambulance.
Team coverage of this innovative, life-saving initiative starts right now.
Every second counts for a trauma patient in need of a blood transfusion. Thanks for joining us. I'm Pat Michaels.
And I'm Susan Forbes. Did you know in some parts of One Blood service area, paramedics are able to provide transfusions to trauma patients at the scene of an incident before the patient arrives at the hospital?
They're transfusing O-positive whole blood, and it's a fascinating program that increases a trauma patient's chance of survival.
Usually when a donor donates whole blood, their donation is separated in biologics into the different components. In the end, their red cells go to one patient, their platelets to another, and their plasma to a third. For the whole blood program, the separation does not occur, and the whole donation is what's being transfused to trauma patients.
The pre-hospital whole blood program is up and running in a few locations in our service area, and recently Orange County Fire and Rescue launched the program in the Orlando area.
And just a few weeks after the program was put in place, it helped save this woman's life. We'll hear from her in just a few minutes.
Lots to share with you, and we are kicking things off with how the program works.
This is truly a game changer.
Dr. Tracy Zito, the trauma medical director at Orlando Regional Medical Center, Orlando's only level 1 trauma center, says the new whole blood program will save trauma patients' lives.
What that bleeding human body needs to keep it alive is blood. Having blood available to these highly trained responders in the field allows patients that would otherwise have potentially died or have gotten to the hospital near death to get there in much better condition and have a much higher chance of survival.
The faster a trauma patient can receive blood, the better chance they will survive.
Honestly, some of the most frustrating and heartbreaking moments in my career have been witnessing patients dying after injury when it was potentially preventable. Deaths from hemorrhage or massive bleeding have occurred too many times.
Type O blood can be given to any patient, regardless of their blood type.
By providing blood to a patient before arriving to the hospital, we are greatly increasing the outcome of life expectancy. This program will save lives.
The units are placed strategically on ambulances called Captain units. Throughout Orange County, state-of-the-art equipment helps make sure the blood is ready at any time for transfusion.
These are our rapid infusers. These are the actual devices that administer the blood, the ability to give it rapidly. So these can give a whole unit of blood in a matter of seconds.
But the most important part of this partnership is One Blood's O-positive blood donors.
It is a massive team effort to save the life of a trauma patient. And key members of that team are type O blood donors. If you have type O blood, please donate blood.
Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings is also helping lead the call for people to donate blood. He is O-positive and has been donating blood for decades.
My call to action to the residents of Orange County is that in order to have the blood needed for this life-saving measure, we have to have the blood. And we need people to give, to donate the blood supplies in order for this to become a reality and have the true effect, positive effect that it can have on our community.
In addition to Orange County Fire and Rescue, the whole blood program is also up and running in conjunction with the Broward County Sheriff's Department. And 4 other locations in South Florida are currently working on putting the program into place soon. The pre-hospital whole blood program is already saving lives.
Yes, it is. Just a few weeks after the program launched in Orange County, it helped save a wife and mother of 6 children. Carmen Lofton has the emotional story.
A woman who received a whole blood transfusion after a traumatic accident met the first responders who helped save her life.
My kids would have lost their mom. And I'm just just grateful.
This is Lori McMinn, a wife and mother of 6. She's out of the hospital and full of gratitude after a traumatic car accident nearly claimed her life. Orange County Fire Rescue Captain Diana Alexander and her team were first to arrive on scene.
You know, I'm glad this program was implemented. You were able to make that decision to give me blood, to help save my life.
Captain Alexander administered the transfusion to Lori on the spot due to internal injuries. That whole blood was available thanks to a new pre-hospital whole blood program that had launched just weeks before her accident.
You definitely showed a remarkable improvement even as we got to the hospital. So we knew the efforts that we were doing were fruitful. Yeah.
I was bleeding because my spleen was lacerated and it was bleeding into my abdomen, and I was basically dying on scene. And I know if it wasn't for her and her team being able to assess me and the blood you guys gave them, I wouldn't be here today.
It was essentially the most important part of her care. It's really what stabilized her coming into the hospital, and then once she got to the hospital. It allowed us to continue to treat her without having to take her to surgery emergently, and so she's very lucky.
People who do give blood know I'm living proof. You save lives. I don't know who saved me, but they saved me.
The pre-hospital whole blood program has already saved a life in just a few short weeks. But none of it would be possible without the generous donation of blood donors who are sharing their power and saving lives. For One Blood, I'm Carmen Lofton.
Such an incredible story of survival, and more lives will continue to be saved because of the program. As we shared at the top of the show, the EMS crews are carrying O-positive whole blood on board the ambulances. But it's very specific O-positive donations. That's because they need to be low titer. So what is low titer blood? And who determines which donations can be used for whole blood transfusions? Well, that's where One Blood's product quality control team comes into play. Meticulous work taking place around the clock in One Blood's product quality control lab. The results of what's in these test tubes will determine which donations can be used for low titer whole blood transfusions. To pass the test, it's all about antibodies.
Our bodies naturally produce antibodies that are the opposite of our ABO blood type. So for example, a person who's type O produces both A and B antibodies.
The team in the Product Quality Control Lab is doing specific titer testing to determine how strong those A and B antibodies are.
Low titer means that the strength of the A and B antibodies is low enough, or it's below an acceptable detectable limit, that blood can be transfused safely to any patient regardless of their blood type.
Only O-positive whole blood donations that have specific low levels of A and B antibodies can be released as low titer and transfused as whole blood to trauma patients. We watched as a licensed One Blood medical technologist performed the titer testing on 2 different O-positive whole blood donations. First stop is the centrifuge. This is where a sample of the donation is spun down to separate the red blood cells from the plasma portion of the blood. After 1 minute, the sample is removed, and 2 microliters of the plasma is mixed with a solution.
This little amount, you barely can see it.
Next, the A and B red blood cells are added to each tube, and a timer is set for 5 minutes.
Okay, so 5 minutes pass.
When the 5 minutes are up, the samples take another spin in the centrifuge for 30 seconds. And then, it's the moment of truth.
It's completely clear. It's the negative for anti-A and anti-B.
A negative result means this donation can be labeled and used as a low titer whole blood unit. Some donations pass the test, but others do not.
See? This is what you see when it's positive. The unit, it's positive for cell B.
You can see how the cells clump together, and that is the indicator of a positive reaction.
So the titer of B on this O-positive whole blood unit is too high.
Yes, exactly.
A specially trained eye able to spot correct results is crucial.
For me, it's a lot of responsibility because you have to make sure that you are reporting the correct result. I'm just so proud of being a med tech here and of working at One Blood, yes.
Donations that don't pass the titer test cannot be used for a whole blood transfusion, but they will still be used to help save lives. They simply go back to biologics, where the team will separate the donation into the different components of red cells, platelets, and plasma, and each component will be used to help patients that are compatible with that donor.
It's a team effort to save lives, and of course, the donors are a key part of that team.
But there are many others at OneBlood who are crucial to making it all work, including donor operations and the team of phlebotomists who collect each donation, our couriers who bring donations back to biologics for processing and deliver blood products to the hospitals.
The biologics team processes the donations. Product quality control performs the titer testing. Our testing lab, Creative Testing Solutions, ensures donations are safe for transfusion.
Then there's the distribution team who prepares orders for the hospitals, and the marketing team who pulls out all the stops to create awareness to help bring donors through the door. It's truly a coordinated effort to save lives, and it's an effort that the OneBlood team does relentlessly for countless patients every day of the year.
We covered a lot, and thank you for tuning in to this special edition of Mission Hero News.
We'll see you next time.